So this past week, I had a meetup with someone that works at a church, and there was no agenda. It was kind of interesting. It was fun. But at the beginning of our time, I said something close to, sometimes I wonder if Christianity never even made it to America. And the other person just threw them off, but I'm kind of recounting something that David Bentley Hart says pretty often, or at least has notably said it at least once. Because I think we've really lost the plot, or we've really got some distortion or mutation of what the original thing was really all about. And in the course of our conversation, I even kind of recounted how even our English translations of the Bible have a particular bias against maybe what the early church even said. So for instance, in 1 John 2:2, it says, for we know that he is the atoning sacrifice, not only for our sins, but also for the sins of the whole world. And that sounds great. But the word for world there is actually cosmos. For we know that he is the atoning sacrifice. He is the thing that has reconciled all things and promised for the restoration of all things. And it's not just of us, which I think there the pun is those who say they believe, but actually for the entire cosmos. The whole shebang, the whole thing. The thing is, I just think that maybe in Western American culture, we're so focused on the individual that we can't formulate or even hypothesize a gospel that is anything larger than the personal. And so we fixate on my salvation, your salvation individually, but what about the corporate whole? For he is the atoning sacrifice not only for our sins, but also for the sins of the whole cosmos. The whole cosmos has already been atoned for. It has already been reconciled. And now we live in the already but not yet, just waiting for the final renewal, the final regenesis, the final restoration, redemption, rescue, reparation, repairing of everything. And I can't help but think of the irony that I've been saying things like this and kind of teaching on it for a couple of years now, and yet people find me almost in secret and then send me emails individually saying, I thought that was the case. I always knew that might be the thing. I always wondered if actually God was going to restore all things because he's already reconciled all things, he's already atoned for all things. But it's strange because I feel as though this type of gospel, which I would say actually is the gospel, has made me quote unquote dangerous. And I think it's really that I'm just dangerous to the status quo, or rather the gospel is. That the scope of God's actual redemption plan is very challenging and subversive of our little finite personal gospels of conditionality rather than unconditionality. So I don't know, I'm probably ranting at this point, but there's just wanted to share that. It's interesting because maybe there's a slow awakening happening. Maybe Spirit is starting to invite people to read the scriptures in their totality for themselves, and not just the passages that the lectionary chooses, or just the passages that their leadership chooses to constantly keep quoting over and 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 over. So I don't know. I'm probably ranting, but maybe there's a nugget of truth in the midst of all of this. So, cheers.